My name's Shaun, aka the Yeti Polar Bear, and these are tech tips. In today's tech tip, I'm going to show you how to do a basic lever bleed on Shimano's modern brake systems. It is a quick and easy way to remove any sort of bubbles from the brake lever and gives it a better feeling pretty much straight away. So first thing I'm going to do is grab my 4mm Allen key and just going to set the brake lever to approximately horizontal position. Don't need to lock that off too tight. We're going to move it around a little bit during the procedure. Next, 2.5mm Allen wrench into the bleed screw on the top here, and it's going to undo that. Now, really important, keep this guy close. You don't want to lose it. And there's also a little O-ring just on the screw there. Don't lose that O-ring. The brake system will never seal again. And keep an eye where the actual bleed screw goes, because you don't want to drop that in the dirt. Using the Shimano bleed funnel, I've already put a little bit of Shimano mineral oil into the bleed bucket itself, or the bleed funnel, and I just screw that onto where the bleed screw was. Pretty important, this is a plastic unit. You don't need to do it up too tight. It has an O-ring which will seal just with the lightest amount of pressure. From there, there's a stopper in the funnel. Pull that out and you can leave that sitting in the funnel itself. So once you've pulled the stopper out and got it in there, just gonna give the lever a few squeezes and you will see bubbles rising into the bucket. And what the idea is every bubble that comes out pulls the same amount of oil back in, and that essentially is refilling any sort of void that's in the lever. So we can do that a few times, and once the bubbles sort of start slowing down coming out, there's another little step that I'll show you just to make sure we've got all of the bubbles out of there. And that involves the free stroke screw on the front of the brakes. Not every Shimano brake system has this, but the higher end ones and the trail type brakes have the free stroke adjuster screw. Simply going to unscrew that free stroke adjuster. I'm not going to remove it completely from the lever. From what I've seen in all of our brake systems, there's usually a bubble trapped somewhere around inside where the free stroke adjuster comes from. So you can give that a few more squeezes. If you have this particular screwdriver has a plastic back, you can definitely tap around the master cylinder of the brake lever. That can dislodge a few more bubbles as well. And once you can see nothing coming out when the free stroke adjuster is wound out, we're going to wind that back in again. Once again, from experience, this just seems to dislodge a few more bubbles in there. And another quick squeeze. I can already feel that this lever is coming up a lot firmer than what it was before. And we're going to back that guy out, the free stroke adjuster out again. Next thing, so we've squeezed the lever, all the bubbles have come out. Going to use the little stopper that we've left in the funnel, and just going to almost use it as a bit of a plunger, and that just agitates the system again, just to make sure if there's any more bubbles, they're just going to come to the surface. And once I'm happy that we're getting absolutely no more bubbles out, I'm going to put the stopper back in, push it into place. And this is pretty important. If you just unscrew the bleed funnel, the oil will dump out and you'll have mineral oil everywhere, which is just a pain in the butt to clean up. So we put that stopper in, and from here we've got the free stroke adjuster out, stopper's in. I can unscrew the funnel off the brake lever, and got my blue rag in my other hand, and it's not going to have oil come out too much, but we just want to make sure that if any oil does come out from this particular point, we're just going to collect it with the blue rag and make sure that it's not going to leak all over the lever. Grab your bleed screw, just double checking you've got that O-ring on there, and we can simply put the bleed screw back in. Just wipe away any extra oil that has pushed out from pushing the bleed screw back in. And now this is where leaving that free stroke adjuster out has become kind of important. From what I've seen with our race team guys, whilst the lever feels good if you don't unscrew that at the last part and then screw it back in again, I found that if I leave it open after the bleed and then completely screw it back in once everything's locked up, it feels almost like there's a bit more pressure in the system, and it gives a better, much firmer lever feel to the brake system. So grab our Phillips head again and just wind that guy in. Grab our 4mm. Set your brake lever angle again, and brake is pretty much good to go. So I would do this for our race team guys. If I'm not doing a full bleed every day, I'll do this every day for them. At home use, I might do it once a week on my bikes. It's not completely necessary. It's more of a just keeping the brake feel consistent, which is the most important thing with brakes.